Welcome to Resilient Brown Mamas podcast, episode number 22. I'm Mika Rose,
I'm Sheena B.
I'm Sonia G.
and we are going to talk about money, 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 money. How do we get it? Where does it go? Why is everything so expensive? Like, just money. It's all around us. You want to kick it off? Who's
It
going to
goes
kick
for
it
sure.
off?
It goes for sure.
What?
Oop, there it goes.
Look, oh my God. It seemed like, because Biggie was like, more money, more problems.
Yes.
I'm like, more
I didn't
money, more
understand it.
bills. I'm like, okay, I got money, so I'm gonna make more money. And then it's like, the more money I make, there's something else coming. I'm like, that bill wasn't there the other day. Am I paying somebody else? Like, I don't know. We could start with food because we were talking about food. But I mean, it costs to breathe air. You see the little TikTok trend that's going on where everybody steps out of their door, and the minute they step on the floor, you hear, and it's a money amount.
True.
That is so real. Like, we're spending money before we even get out the bed in the morning.
Done.
Breath still kicking. Left eye still closed.
And the thing is that it's only going to get worse. It's not going to get better. It's only going to get worse.
And you would think like in other places it's like easier, right? Like other countries. My bestie was just in Trinidad, where she's from. She was like, yo, their rent is the same amount as our rent. I'm like, in Ireland? Like, you would think that you could go there and like buy this $100,000 house or $80,000 house that would be like equivalent to our 4 and 5. It's like, what's even the allure? We can't even be like, I'm leaving, because where you gonna go? To a village somewhere, like on the side of a mountain, because even they're over there struggling. Like,
let me tell you, I went to Walmart the other day. So I have 2 kids. They eat like crazy. So there's certain things that I have to keep in the house in bulk. Eggs are one of them. I drive a whole 17 minutes up the road to the local Walmart because Walmart has two 18 packs of eggs for $4. Usually at the most, it's almost $5. I went last week to go get my eggs because it's always the first thing on my list, right? And the eggs were $9 a pack. I mean, for the 2-pack. $9 for the 2-pack. And I looked at them eggs looked at me, and I said, not today, I won't.
You didn't get it? Because I'm like, that's a deal.
Because mind you, 2 weeks before, they were $4 for the 2-pack. So in my mind, I'm like, either you're playing me close, or the economy is just that shitty.
It is, because the normal price of an 18 pack is, 4 or 5, sometimes more than that, right? Depending on the brand, depending on organic, whatever it says on the package. Okay, whatever.
Right.
But yeah, the fact that and you got 218. It unfortunately, it's sad to say, but yeah, that was a deal. That's a deal.
I left them. I was so angry. I was cuss my way all the way to the cashier.
Yeah. Can you imagine our parents? Like, what are they thinking when they see the food and these prices, right? Coming from like their generation or whatever, and they're, I know that the money kind of like balances out because they were making less, the prices, but still to this extreme.
For lettuce to be like 79 cents. Now it's $3.29.
$3.29, yes. It's so funny. I was up late last night and I was watching some Instagram videos, and young lady was sharing like I guess they did some renovation or something in her house, and she found her dad's pay stubs from 1953.
Wow.
From the year 1953. And she was like, basically like, oh my God, that week, the pay stub said that week her dad made $57.99. Like, that stuck with me because I was like, $57, and somebody makes that an hour these days.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
And that's what
that was
he
more than
made.
a gas. That
That's
was
what he made for the week. So in my mind, I'm like, well, how much was gas a gallon? How much was a loaf of bread?
right.
Like I started thinking about how much was his light bill? Hell, how much was his mortgage? If all he was making was 57 a week. So all he brought home was almost what? A little over $200 a month?
Yeah.
And
That's
back then they weren't hitting them with taxes. I don't
right.
want to talk about tax.
Girl, don't go there.
I was
Don't.
looking at my check. I was like, because I'm like, oh, I'm getting hours. I'm getting hours. Yes, my sister told me I'm about to be racking up these hours. Check, 2 G's, whatever. By the time they greased up and got my tax, I was like, oh,
They right there before you get it. They're like,
It's
what?
painful. It's painful. It is painful. It is
I'm like,
painful.
you
yeah.
got to be kidding. It hurt like four, five, $600 in tax.
It's like, where is it going? And
That's sweet. Yeah. Imagine people that get, more than that. But
Yeah.
Sheena, what you were talking about, the girl finding the pay stub, it makes me think of like the conversation I've had with my dad. There are times where like we'll talk about things with my car and things like that, right? And so we cross we talk about like how much my car was or whatever, right? Or just in general,
yeah.
because he loves to watch shows, and what they do is they give away a lot of these cars. So
Mm-hmm.
let's remove the conversation of me and my car, but he sees these cars that are given away, and they're like, oh, the car was $50,000, and the car was $70,000, and he's just like, oh my god, like, right? And so I'm like, Dad, yeah, that's, depending on the car, unfortunately, that's normal, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, remember when I bought the Lincoln, whatever we had, and it was brand new? I was like, Dad, how much you pay for that car? He was like, the car was $7,000. And I'm like, what?
And that was a lot of
Brand new?
money back
Said,
then
what? He said, yeah. I said, no, Dad, you could barely buy a used old car for
for
that amount.
7,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said that
Those
was a brand new, I
crazy.
think it was like a Lincoln Continental, because he was big on his. I was like, that was brand new. He's like, yeah, remember we went to that? I was like, no, I don't remember, but okay. Okay.
That's crazy.
Wow.
But
Wow.
those same little cars that had no bells and whistles, like 10 years ago, you could get a car for $17,000, no bells and whistles. Now it's $27,000, no bells and whistles.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
what? I
And
don't have no camera. My
don't even
seats
think
are
about the one
cloth.
they want to make a spaceship. Like, why are you building it like a spaceship?
Yeah, I don't want
Because they
that.
want to be able to charge us for a spaceship.
Yeah. Sorry, Mika.
So, like, remember when we were little, and like your favorite uncle or your favorite auntie would come over and they give you like $1, and you'd be like, "Woohoo! I won the lottery!" And you take that dollar and go down to the corner store, and you come out with like a bag of stuff, chips, juice, candy, a pickle, all kinds of stuff, right? For that $1. You cannot give these kids $1 today.
Or a
They
quarter.
can't
Pull a
buy
quarter from behind
anything.
your ear.
You
They don't
can't
even
buy
know what a quarter
anything.
is.
No, no. Change. If these kids can identify a coin, I'm surprised.
Well, look, they got to learn it in school, but they can't use it. It's like, what's the point?
I went
But
so
now,
Jada, I'm planning Jada's sports banquet for the end of their season, and we wanted to give a few of the students gift cards. So I was like, you know what? I can get three gift cards at like the local Chipotle or whatever. I get into the Chipotle and I was like, all right. I started to ask for three $10 gift cards. But then when I looked at the menu, a plain chicken bowl or burrito starts at $9.50.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
I couldn't even just do a basic $10 gift card. So I had to make it a $12 gift card so that they could at least get a full bowl.
yeah.
Now they can only get a chicken bowl.
Yeah. Hopefully they
Don't
don't
But
have
eat
that's
no
it.
guacamole.
Hopefully you eat chicken.
no queso.
No queso.
No
But
guacamole.
this
That
is
is
this is what I was telling you, Sheena, the other day. We were talking about that because we were talking about how, when the kids, if that day they choose to go outside of the school and eat
Yes.
lunch or whatever, they can no longer. I remember, going and getting a pizza and a soda, and Like you're good with two, three,
A
four,
slice and a soda?
Used to be $5.
Not even.
Not
but these
even
kids want
3.75.
lunch.
Yep.
Yeah, these kids want lunch. They're looking at an easy minimum 7, 8,
Yeah.
9. I'm
And
like,
that's the low
Because
end.
the local pizza place, it's 2 slices and a soda, and it's 7.75.
And it's sad because that's
Seven
the
seventy
deal.
five,
I
and
just
that's a
went
deal.
through, yeah.
and that's the deal. So now being the parent who then has to now raise these kids and deal with, giving them money for lunch. It's like you can't even, your kid can't even have lunch for $2, $3, $4, $5. It's
Even a nasty school lunch. I used to be like, yo, on the beginning of the month, I would pay for Jenny's little swipes
yeah,
at school, not college, because that's a whole nother
yeah,
conversation. But in high school, I was like, are you eating filet mignon at lunchtime? Like it was literally like over $100
Yeah,
easy
I
a
think
month.
school lunch for high school is like 3.25 or 3.50 per day.
And she
So
wanted like nachos
for
and
that, you might as
cookies.
well just give them the $10 and let them go and eat off campus, because the quality of the food is so much better.
Look, we didn't do that. I said you better get what you gonna get because you're not leaving the school. But at the end of the day, that was heartbreaking. Like, girl, I could buy groceries and you don't want me to make you sandwiches? Cause it's the thing, you want to eat at school. And I'm just like, yo, just to breathe air
yeah,
costs money. And then the fact that we don't even bat an eye. We're talking about this, and I'm like, I went and just got 2 brisket sandwiches from Mission. $26 and change for 2 brisket sandwiches. No cheese, no onions and pickles like I like to put on it, because God forbid. No drink, no fries. This is 2 sandwiches in plastic containers, $26 and change. And I
Yeah.
paid it.
yeah, and that you know what that means? We got to get in the kitchen a little bit more because I'm
I
guilty.
don't I can't do it. I hate cooking.
Yeah,
I rather
Gina, no, I don't do it because it's just me,
So
right? For me to do it, I'm just like, I'm just not, because I don't even know what I want to eat any given
from
day.
moment to
no,
moment, yeah.
And then if there's leftover, like I don't want to eat the same thing tomorrow. Like,
me either.
and
But
it's
see, here we go. We talk about money.
I know, and
Money and
because
food.
we're talking about money, but it's like I just can't get out of the habit of like if I want to go get something to eat, I just get in my car and go get it.
Yeah.
No, for sure. I mean, even a cup of coffee. So I go to Starbucks and I treat myself. I get a plain cafe Americano with a splash of oat milk, no sugar, no, I don't need any syrup, anything fancy. And my coffee costs me a little under $4, just a plain cup of coffee. If I go to Dunkin' Donuts, to be honest, it still costs the same amount. I think it might be cheaper by like maybe 50, 60 cents. But even a cup of coffee anywhere, there's no such thing as a $2 cup of coffee.
No.
There
At
is
least not here in my neighborhood. There's no
corner
such
store.
thing.
There is at the corner store. They have those prices,
I wish I had a corner store.
I
right?
know.
I
Listen, I
wish.
was excited when I saw a corner store here, in Stanford. But yeah, and I'm okay with that. Like I stopped at Dunkin' Donuts a long time ago. I'm not a Starbucks person, but then someone watching this or listening to us can say, "Well, why don't you just make it at home?" Right?
It tastes
And
the same.
I've tried it so many times, and I'm just like, it just doesn't taste the same.
Or you know what? It's not that it doesn't taste the same. I know for me, I can make my coffee at home, but sometimes I don't have time in the morning when I'm rushing out to the office to make coffee. I have enough time to get ready in the morning and be out the house, and it's more efficient for me to grab the coffee on my way out somewhere than it is to try to make it in the house. I just don't have the time. But like, yeah, coffee is expensive.
Yeah.
What
Dunkin',
about
I definitely swipe for $25 at Starbucks every time.
what about gas?
What? What?
I
I
don't
don't even
even
want to
know
talk
the
about
price of
gas.
gas. I don't even know the price of gas because does it matter how much it costs? You need it.
No, the day I saw you, I was like, oh, she not while we're waiting for this store to open, I'm gonna run and get me some gas. It was $3.99 a gallon. I said, nah, up my way, it's less. And Sheena said, I don't know the price, but when I got further up the pike, closer to your house, it was a whole 50 cents less. So
See,
I'm sure,
I never look because in my
no.
mind, okay, so my psyche says if I look at the price and I see the price and I don't like the number I see, I'm only pumping $5.
What? But $30 doesn't even get me over.
I'm
I
only
mean, I
pumping
can tell.
$5 worth. So I just if I need gas, I try to get it at the same place, but at the gas station by my house when I see that I need gas because I know what I'm getting, right? But if I happen to need gas outside of being close to my house, I just don't even look because it's depressing because I remember when I started driving, gas was like 98 cents. Yeah, like
Um,
regular was like 98 cents a gallon and premium was like $1.01 or $1.02 or something like that. So to be paying a whole $4, $5 for gas is insane to me. Is completely insane. I'm
like
not that old.
how are people survive? Like really, like when you think about it, I know like even jobs, right? Because I my first job I got paid like 4.25 an hour, then went to 4.75, then 5.25, then
Yes.
I'm going up.
I
But yo, I get paid a decent amount every hour, but it does not matter.
It
And when
doesn't
I
feel
looked
that
up,
way.
no,
I
when I looked up what you call it? When I looked up the what do you call it? Was
Minimum
middle
wage.
class, right? Because that
yes,
used to be the goal, right? I just want to be a for a honest middle class family. Middle class has this long range from some people argue like 47 k
yeah,
to 147 a k. I mean k, and that's middle class. And I'm like, so of course that has to do with demographics. When you get to that 150, that's really where we're at, right? New York, DC,
yes.
definitely California, Massachusetts. You got to make at least six figures to be middle class, but you still are looking crazy. Like, don't let the water heater go out.
Right.
Don't let a tooth be bad.
Right.
I feel like there's no such thing as middle class anymore. It's literally poor and rich.
And and
Yeah,
and you're
poor
right.
and
And they've been
rich.
saying that for years that
Yeah.
that was going to happen, right? They were going
Yeah,
to take out the middle class, and we're not even like starting to be like that. Like we're in the middle of it for a while. Like that's just what it is, And people are, just learning how to be entrepreneurs and getting, the side business going. That
Yeah.
maybe for some people it'll turn into a real legit business.
yeah.
You're like, screw the 9 to 5, I'm gonna go make my own money. Or it really is just a consistent side income, additional income, which is great, right? Multiple streams, because just that one paycheck,
It's
and
not enough.
unless you're in the high six figures just from the paycheck alone, you have to have some extra coming in from somewhere.
But
I I always think like, okay, it's me and my kids, right? I always think about how some of these mothers who have more than two mouths to feed, right? It's me and my two kids. But like for another mom, a single mom, or even a mom who has help, who's got a few extra mouths to feed and she's not making above 40,000, 50,000, 60,000, like how are you managing? Because the government will say if you're a certain household of a certain, if your household is a certain number and you make this amount, that you're not considered at the poverty level, but you can't keep food on the table, you can't pay your bills on time, you just don't, your expenses exceed what you're bringing in. Like I don't even understand how the economy is even turning because it doesn't make sense. Because in my mind, when I walk out the door, I look at people now and I'm like, everybody's in debt to me. Like, don't be looking at, sometimes you look at someone, oh, they drive this fancy car and they live in this fancy
the
house.
car is
No,
dead.
to me, I look at everyone like everyone is in debt, everyone is poor, everyone is struggling in their own way. So struggle looks different for, very different for different people and where you're at economically and socially. But I don't know, it's discouraging sometimes, very discouraging. Because, like Mika said in the beginning, we were laughing about it, but it's so true. You make more money, but as soon as you make more money, you end up exceeding that with, maybe you decide that you want to upgrade your car, upgrade your home, maybe put your kids in a few extra activities or, whatever it is you want to do with your money. And then you're right back at square one again.
Yeah,
You make it and then all of a sudden you're back at square one again. So
it's like
it's
save
hard.
it.
Yeah, and you hear a lot of financial, so-called experts say that when you get that raise, just act like you never got it, right? Take that difference and go put it in investment or go put it in whatever, right? So you're still living off of what you were originally living off of, that raise. But the raises, they're barely noticeable anyway, right?
Because then the taxes come.
Right. The taxes come, but not only that, like how much did they give you in raise? Like was
Nothing.
even notice? Right. But unfortunately, yeah, sometimes we do make that decision. It's like, oh, I got a raise, I got, promotion, whatever. Ooh, I need a new car. Ooh, I need da, 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 da. Right. So it comes down to a lot of self-control, which I know myself. I don't have it. I used to have it. I don't know where it went. It went, disappeared. It left me a long time ago. Said, I don't know you no more because that self-control ain't there. But it's tough when you have to go get the eggs at $9.
What?
Here's my
She like,
raise.
and don't, a friend of mine was just saying, she has gluten allergy in the house. So now you add that on there, and I'm like, dietary restrictions, that's crazy when if it's something you could leave off, like we can't have nuts in the house. Cool. That's not because nuts are expensive. They're expensive as hell. I'm like, squirrels out here getting them for free. I'm about to go follow them, but I don't need them. I don't want to make my baby sick. But when you have to have like lactose free milk or gluten free foods,
Extra.
or what? Now I'm like, you took the gluten out. Shouldn't that count for something? Why is it costing more for this bread for this
It's
person
so
who has
paying
four
extra because
kids?
they took it out. They did the work to take it out. So now you got.
Right, right.
It's so crazy you say that because I remember when Nono was a baby, I was like, oh, I can't wait for him to be potty trained so I no longer have to like buy diapers and pull-ups because that was an expense all in its own, a monthly expense all in its own. And then as soon as he transitioned out, I felt like that money that I was spending on that just went to something else.
Oh
So
yeah.
he went from being potty trained. I mean, yeah, he went from wearing the pull-ups and the diapers to being potty trained to all of a sudden now he's in activities.
Yeah.
Oh, it never
So the
stopped.
money shifted from putting it here to putting it there. So really it wasn't any savings. I'm just allotting it differently. So
Yeah.
it's you're I don't know when it comes to finances, I'm still struggling with it like many people. I'm not ashamed to say it. Although I am doing my due diligence, I'm doing a lot better than I did 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Um, Finances really just some days I wake up and I'm like, ah. I was telling the ladies before we started recording, like I got paid last week. I sat down, I went online, paid all my bills, and then, you randomly check your account and you're like,
Yeah, that's it.
you know what I mean? Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
For me, working, I talked to a friend today who says she has 3 jobs. She makes a lot of money. She has 3 jobs. They're all high paying jobs.
Mm.
She definitely front loaded her life. So she's definitely has an impressive salary. And it works for her. For me, I have always, because even just hearing you like talk about activities and all that stuff, I don't really be knowing where my money go. Because for real, I'm a conservative person. Like I've always been conservative. Even like with Jenny, she would do one activity, right? Because I was pumping academics. That's free. So you could do this stuff later, sis. You want to go to Olympics? If the answer is no, all right, cool. Then I'm not doing nothing crazy. You know what I mean? You do sports in school. It's gonna cost this. Like, and it's not that I am like intentionally cheap. I just have I don't need a lot. That's just my personality. I don't need hair. I don't need nails. I don't spend money on makeup. I smelled my makeup today and was like, oh, I might need to get rid of this. I thought about it. I got that shit like 2 years ago. I just don't need nothing. And I'm like, if I'm feeling this crunch, because I told you the last time I was responsible for an electric bill, my bill was like $40 a month, maybe. And I like my heat on crank. My first bill recently was 166. I called Sheena crying. I was like, it's all right. It's just the first month. Maybe, it's like an activation fee or something. The next month it was 270 something. I was like, Sheena, wait a minute. Look at your bill. The next month it was 400. and $3. I was like, wait, come to find out it was an HVAC issue. So cool. They'll make that, well,
Not
my,
havoc, not havoc.
that havoc. But the fact that I was just paying it, like, I guess this is just what life looks like.
Yeah.
Because I'm just so used to everything costing so much. The packs of socks. Look, I'm not, forget underwears and bras. I'm not too a fan of them anyways because the price. How are y'all wearing fancy bras and panties? I
Who
don't
said
even
they're
want to buy.
fancy? Who
Right,
said
not
they're
even
fancy?
handsome.
Who said they're fancy?
Look,
What?
I ain't got nobody to impress, so I don't
Right?
get fancy.
And if you do, you got to be like, boo, this costs. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But
Yeah.
but I mean, I remember the days of spending, XYZ money on something and it was all cute and
yeah.
it come off in like 3 seconds. So uh
And for me, my pajamas, I love people who wear pajamas. Ducky's definitely a pajama girl, like top and bottom. I love that for her. For her, she's a kid. For me, my street clothes eventually morph into house clothes. You know, they get a stain on it. They don't fit that good. They got little ball. What you call? My mother call them boogers. Them little
the
pill
little
balls
white
on them.
walls. Oh my God.
Now they're pajamas. Like you can't even
T-shirt.
afford like the things that make you feel
I'm right there with you.
A
I'm
whole
uh,
basket of T-shirts that work very well as pajamas.
boom. They
listen.
just transition. I like to think that that's sustainable because that's the other thing. So what do we do? Do we do more sustainable things? Are y'all like me? Like, look, I'm not working extra and I'm not cutting back. This is just what life is gonna be because God only put me here to clap at his sunset, anyways. You
Yeah.
know, I would like to have a Range Rover and a 6 bedroom house, but that's not going to make or break me. And I'm still going to go in the box and get eaten by maggots, just like the person who has that, you know? So
Yeah.
I don't want to say that that's like sedentary or mediocre. I just think that I choose to be happy with what I have and not waste time with my kids to get more. Cause I tend to see that like, oh, you got to hustle.
Yeah.
You got to have two, you got to have 6 streams.
I don't
That comes at a cost. And it's
it
like,
does.
are there other adjustments? Can we be sustainable like we're talking about? And then I like, how do you just be okay with being
It's so
sustainable?
crazy you said that. I don't know if you guys remember. I don't know if it was last year or the year before. I got a little part-time job at Michael.
It wasn't worth it, was it?
I think I worked 2 days. And when the manager said to me, "Oh, we close at 10," I said, "Oh no, I work till 9."
It did. I was like, Sheena, I don't think that's how it works.
And she was like, "But we all leave at 10." And I said, "No, I leave at 9." And when I got in the car, I said, "I don't know if this is for me." So they kept putting me on the schedule, and every day I kept calling.
Right. Right. And
And then finally I called and I said, "This is not working."
right. I mean,
I
at
was
some point,
employed for a whole month. I was employed for a whole month. I only worked twice.
but Mika, you
Thank you
got
for the discount, by
because
the way.
You're welcome. But no, I say all of that to say is during that time, I was like, it's not worth me being away from my children.
No.
It's not worth me giving up extra time for what they were giving, right? I can find other ways to make money and still feel as if it's not taken away from my personal or family life because I'm only going to get this one time with my children and I don't want to waste it getting a dollar because at the end of the day the check is written in my name, it's not written in their name, and they don't care about that. So if it means these next few years will be a little challenging financially, I would rather have a few challenging years and spend with my kids than to give it up for money that they don't care about.
Yeah.
If I have to finagle how we're spending money today, I'll just have to manage how we're spending money today so that, once my time is up with them, everything is going to be Gucci. Because I feel like for me, I'm only going to be in this situation financially only for a few more years. And then they're going to be out the house doing their own thing. And then my money is my money, essentially. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Because right now I'm sharing my money with them, which
Okay.
is really how it goes as a parent, but it doesn't last forever. And I keep telling myself that. So at this point, if it means me staying where I'm at, I'm okay because God has blessed me. I want to be able to have experiences and do things with them because, like you said, um, work comes at a cost. Work comes at a cost for all of us. And Sonia and I talk about this all the time. Like, I watched my mom work as a young kid. I watched my mom at one point work 3 to 4 jobs at one point.
Yeah.
Like, every time I talk to her about it, and like I reminisce with her, telling her how I remember that, I always say, I'm not even sure how you did that. I mean, granted,
Yeah.
she had assistance, she had help from family members, but like, by God, like, when did that woman sleep? She didn't. There were
Yeah.
certain things, like, we just didn't have her because she was too busy providing. So, at this stage in my life, I'm thankful that I could still provide and still give the time.
Yeah. And I think it's important. I use my life as a lesson to my kids. I'm not a failure by any stretch.
No.
I just did things in the reverse. But what I tell them is, and I require them to front load their life. So it warms my heart to watch Genesis do it now. She listened to everything that me and her dad told her about her money, about her credit, about front loading her life, about enjoying her life, about enjoying the fact that she can work multiple jobs if she chooses to, which she doesn't, but she still chooses to, which is makes us want to do more for her, right? But that way, when you are my age, you're not sitting here like, oh, I would like to have a Range Rover. Like, again, I don't lose sleep over it. It's just an example, right? But if you want it, you get it
Yeah.
because you already front loaded, because you already made sure your credit was healthy. I had to learn that later. Now my credit is healthy, but it took me like forever to realize how important that was. But credit was also new to our generation. It's
Yeah.
essential to this one. So just making sure that I'm not sitting here. I don't want my me not being rich to be their burden, but I definitely want it to be their lesson so that they could be like, yo, I wish I could go to Disney annually. There's some families who can, and we should be able to. But I want to make it so that if that's something that they want, they are able to because they didn't, have kids earlier and, choose relationships the way that I did early on. All of those things just snowball because there's people who do not care about the cost of gas right now. They really don't because
It's
they don't
so
have to, you know?
I rolled up to the Walgreens today, parked, and the guy was sitting in a Bentley. It's like, what are you doing?
At what?
And he was sitting in a Bentley. He gets out, he had on Asics sneakers,
Love it.
sitting in a Bentley, and I wanted to stop him and say, give me the plan of life.
Might be in debt.
But so that goes back to what I was saying before. But
That's why.
what I was thinking in that moment was, but he has one. Like, even if he's in debt, he still got to a certain level to have one.
Depending
It
on who
never was something that I thought about as a young person or a kid because nobody around me had that. So I never thought about it. But in my mind, in that moment today when I saw him, I was like, wow, because it is possible.
yeah,
It's possible, but it wasn't my thought. And I always tell my kids, similar to you, me, is like, it's better to have the option than to not have the option at all. So you can get it, but you choose not to get it is a completely different thing than wanting it and can't get it or can't
yeah.
have it.
And that all
I
has to do
like
with your
multiple
choices.
choices. I like to have multiple choices, but because of the way this country works, a lot of us don't have no choice.
Because I was about to say, who was this man? Did our ancestors make it so that he could have that car? I don't know. I don't want to
Yeah, I
assume,
don't
but
know who he was.
sometimes you
Yeah.
see what I'm saying. Sometimes it's just like I don't even look at you as a
No,
benchmark.
it wasn't even the person. It was more so like what you just said. Like, if you wanted to have something,
Yeah,
you can get it. You know what I mean? Versus wanting something and not having the means whatsoever. Because let's say it again, because us black and brown folks, we be having stuff, but don't really need it. Like, we be having stuff and didn't deserve it. Because some of us be out here with roaches in the projects with
you can't leave
80,000,
cookies out for Santa.
yeah, 80,000, $90,000 cars, and you park your car in the street. You park an $80,000 car on the street.
Yeah.
There's
So
some
I mean,
people who
that
like
goes
that.
back to choices, right? And it goes back to just the mindset and making the right decisions. But again, when you're watching the wrong thing, right?
Or trying to skip steps.
Skip. You cannot skip steps and get to the goal.
No.
Anytime, it's like I used this example the other day with my daughter. I was like, if you put together a bike, and then at the end of putting together a bike, no pun, Sonia, and you finish putting together the bike, and you got 3 screws left because you whatever, like maybe
You didn't read the
you
directions,
didn't read the
step by
directions.
step.
Is your bike gonna work?
It might,
It might, but then
Did it work, Sonia? Did it work?
but then when you're writing it, you're always nervous that it's going to fall apart because you know it's missing 3 screws from somewhere. You don't know where. At any given moment, it can happen.
don't
And
go
I
too
promise
fast.
I did not use that when after I said it, I thought about you.
I don't read instructions. I don't.
Yeah.
I can put the thing together, and then after all of that, it's sitting this way instead of straight. I'm like, oh,
So
damn.
just look at it like this and you good.
Damn, I
But
got.
I'm trying something new when it comes. What happened?
I said, then I got to take it all apart and
Nah, it stays the way it is.
so there's a saying in Spanish. I don't remember the exact words, but basically it just means that just because you didn't do the work, right? You can apply this to life. You didn't do the work in the beginning, the proper work in the beginning. Now you have to do the double the work because you didn't start off right. Like now
Right.
I'm doing double the work because I was too lazy to read the instructions out the gate and do it right the first time. So now
Wow.
I'm doing twice the work.
I
And
like
that's well, I just wanted to say, and we can all share our little tips, but for me, and I want y'all to check back in with me. I have been hearing about people being delusional, and it's getting on my nerves to hear delulu, delulu. It's kind of annoying, but I have started to say things like, I'm not going to worry about money. I've been saying it to my husband, I say it to my friends and my family, people have adopted it. I'm not going to worry about money. And I'm not going to lie, not worrying about money, I be just having money.
that.
It's not that I'm winning it or anything. It's just like, I'm not worried about it. I'm gonna go get an apartment. I didn't have money, but I got an apartment. And like I'm gonna go and get another apartment. I did not have the money, but somehow I have the money for everything, the food, the seafood boils, the like everything. I have it. And I'm just like, I don't know where it's coming from, but when I agreed to not worry about it, when I adopted the idea that money is energy, and I was like, let me stop chasing it away by being worried about it and just
Yes.
spend, like literally spend it. I'm not lying, it's coming. And so check with me next year because I also said I was going to have a certain thing, a certain amount of money. And this is coming from somebody whose last job was paying them $16 an hour because I'm an at home mom working part time. Literally am there in like 2 months because
Yeah.
I just said it was going to happen. So money is energy. So it's just like, what's your relationship with it? And just working on like how to improve it, even if it's being
Yeah.
delusional. I don't know if y'all have tried that or if anybody out there has tried it or will try it, just let me know because I'm getting
Oh,
results for
I've
real.
definitely been there. I mean, that's how I was able to front load my new life when I got here to Maryland. I was like, God, I'm gonna give it to you. I don't know how it's gonna come, but I'm gonna have it. And everything was like bloop, 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 in place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But I
So
do find that when I worry about it, it kind of,
Yeah.
and then when I stop worrying, and then I'm like, give it to God, give it to God. And then everything is like bloop, bloop, bloop back again. So yeah, I've been
you're
able
like,
to do all of the things that I want to do. There's still some things that I want to do, but I'm not doing those things because there are other things that need to take place first. Like I need to
Yeah.
take care of these things first before I do these big things. And just again being smarter with money. Because old me would have did the big things first and it would have been like,
Yeah.
I'll take care of you later. But like, yeah, when it's time, just and like I said to myself by this year I need to be making this amount of money. Did that. So now it's what's my goal for the next 2 to 3 years, and just keep saying what I'm gonna have, what I'm and feel it, believe that that money's already in your pocket. It's over
Believe that them eggs is $4.
this because I'm not buying eggs until they go down.
I
So
just
you,
say
you
your
hear all the
protein is
people,
low, but
you hear all the people. I mean, you've heard it for years, right? All the people that teach mindset,
Yeah.
right?
mhm.
And that's one of their, that's like 101 to them. It's the mindset, it's your language, it's your energy. And they're always talking about like how you how you feel about the money matters. Like, are you annoyed that you don't have it? You don't,
Right.
like, that's bad energy. You think it's going to come to you when there's bad energy, right? But you we've been hearing for years, everybody's been hearing all of the right things to do or what not to do, and it's just a matter, for some people it works and some people it doesn't, because
Yeah.
give you don't give into it 100%, right? Some people are like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it, but then 2 days later you're not doing it anymore.
Yeah, because
So
that's where the delusion comes in. You gotta really believe it, and you gotta get there to just be like, "Oh, this is how I live my life." Like, come on, bro, everything takes work. So even getting in the habit of paying my bills and being like, literally saying, "Thank you, Father, for giving me money to pay these bills. Thank you, Father, for giving me a roof that I have to pay to keep over my head and having the money to pay it," and really genuinely meaning it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
girl, that was it. So it sucked when my check was in half in literally 2 minutes. I told Sheena, I got my check. I went on my app. I paid two things.
Right. But and I felt crazy after I paid all my bills. But literally, like you said, every time I pay my bills, I'm like, thank you, God, for giving me the opportunity to pay my bills.
Because
Thank
when
you,
your
God.
phone rings, you don't think it's the bill collector.
No, not at all. Not at all. Thank you,
If
God,
it's
for
Pluto,
giving
I don't
me.
answer. I don't say nothing. I be
Because
quiet like,
I always bring it back to there's a mother out there like me
yeah,
who does not have the means. And
right.
she wished for 1 second she could be in my shoes where it was just so effortless to go on her app, pay her bills, and sit down. Because it's a difference between paying your bills and saying, I don't have enough. And there's a difference between not having enough to even be able to pay the bills.
Yeah.
yeah,
There's a difference. So there's a
level,
difference between being broke and broke.
yeah. There's also a level of, right, this accomplishment. Once you finish paying ABC, right? Okay, I paid 10 things, let's say.
Yes.
So grateful for that feeling, like you said, to be able to. Because, like you said, there's some people who can't even pay three things.
Yeah.
I get it. I work for it. Yes. Do I wish my pay was higher? Do I wish I had a successful 13 quadrillion dollar, entrepreneurial business? Yeah, 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 whatever. But like Mika was saying before, for me, I let go of that a while ago. People can say settle, but the truth is, I don't want to stress about that anymore. That was very
Yeah.
stressful. I was that person raising my son that I had multiple jobs, right? And it was about not spending enough time with him. But it's also wearing yourself down.
Yes.
Eventually, like you said, when did my mom sleep? It's wearing you down mentally, physically, your health, all of that stuff. And it's a lot. And it wasn't like I was that person that said, I wanted that mansion and I want the fancy car. That's why I'm doing it. It wasn't that. It was, I think for me, it was there was a level of insecurity about being successful, what people
Yes.
considered successful.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I drove this car, or it was still accomplishing something for myself. I bought my place and this, that, and that, whatever. I knew there was money in the bank that if God forbid there was an emergency, I wasn't a millionaire, but just that peace of mind is what I wanted. But it did come at with the price.
A
Now,
premium.
it's like, and I walked away, like, whoever knows my story, I walked away from a great paying job just because I wanted more peace of mind and more, the money lost its value.
Yes.
Having that
Yeah.
high paycheck just didn't matter to me anymore, but my peace and my sanity and me not being stressed out was more valuable than that.
Say
And
it again.
it always works out. It
It
always,
does. Sonia, say it again. Peace. That peace is so like,
it always works out. Now, woohoo for the people who do want
Yeah.
peace and the 17-room mansion and the successful $10 million business. Congratulations. I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
It's not
That's what I
me.
was gonna say, this conversation is so different than any other one that I see on my timeline, because everything is about hustling and getting more and generational this and that. I told my kids, I told Sheena the other day, and I'll say it a million times, y'all not getting nothing. I'm not dying to give y'all nothing. We watch people in our families hold on to this stuff that they worked for this generational wealth for a generation who knows nothing what to do with it. And they could have been living it, buying coke and being with loose women, whatever they want to do with that money. But instead, they holding on to
Yeah.
die to give it to some other old people who have no idea what to do with it, right? Don't know
Yeah.
how to enjoy it, don't want to enjoy it, don't have an appreciation for it. And what I think is a great family business and what my kids think is a great family business is two different things. So what I'm doing is setting them up. We talked about mindset. There's nothing that these kids cannot do. They know it and they prove it every day
Yeah.
academically right now, but that will spill over until they're into their normal life. We're seeing that with Genesis. You make that money because you're not going to be sitting here, we talk about energy, waiting for me to die to give you this generational wealth that I've been trying to accumulate for you. No, we're going to do this and you're going to do it and you're going to have the habits and you're going to teach your children and they will have, you know, because at the end of the day, it's I've watched it, I've seen it happen. It's not fruitful. It causes rifts in families. When I sat here and I built this laundromat, we got 10 laundromats, and the kid wants to be a rapper.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with the kid wanting to be a rapper. You know, like,
Even the
what do you
homes,
do?
right? There's a whole generation out there. Like I see people, my age and older, where like I bought this house and I'm gonna leave it for my child, and them kids don't want the house.
They don't.
They live in a whole other state now with their own families and their own jobs, and you're holding on to this house with this big expense,
Yeah.
especially now at a senior age,
Yeah.
What?
with a high mortgage or high, heating
Because
bill,
you don't refinance.
struggling to keep this house, and don't nobody want it.
This
Go
is,
downsize.
And you know what's so funny? Because when you think generational wealth, right? You think money, right? Because that's what you think when you think generational wealth. But
We'll make it out to be, yeah.
I'm so unorthodox in how I do everything in life, which sometimes has hurt me, but also has helped me in different ways, right? But generational wealth to me is sometimes just showing your children peace. Like it's okay to do things how you see fit for you. You don't necessarily have to do it the way that I did it or that this person did it, but understanding that you can follow your own road as long as you have a plan and a purpose. And whatever comes of that, because like I don't know which one of you said it, but like for that person that makes the $1 million salary or has the super successful company may not be what your kid wants. Maybe your kid wants to be a naturalist and, I don't know, teach people how to meditate and feel good and find peace on earth, which really has nothing to do with money, right? But you're this big mogul, and maybe just generational wealth is giving your kids the opportunity to walk their own path, not make them feel bad for it. You can still align them correctly because really it's about mindset, right? Align them in the mindset realm and let them walk their own path and go on about it. Do you how you want to do you and let them do them how they want to do them and wash your hands of it.
yeah, anything worth having is worth working for. And
Yeah,
if you waiting for me to give you $1 million, I'm gonna be sitting there waiting for you to blow it because you had no idea what it was like to get it. Therefore, you're not gonna hold on to it.
yeah.
Point blank, period. You know,
I
so
don't It's so funny. I don't know what my kids are gonna do when they get older. When we were younger, our kids would be like, "Oh, you're gonna be a teacher. Oh, you're gonna be this because this is what you need to do because whatever." I don't know what my kids are gonna do when they're older. All I ask is that whatever they do, it brings them joy and they're doing it with a purpose. That's all I ask. Like, don't be stuck counting numbers if accounting is not what you want to do and you're only doing it because it makes money. Like, do something that brings you joy. That way you can live a fruitful, a more peaceful, a happy life. Because when you're doing something you love, you can find peace in doing it regardless of how bad or how good the day is. And then you may not be sitting around pissed off at your paycheck because it ain't enough. because you've
Right, right.
already found peace in what it is that you're doing.
Yeah. Well, if my kids are listening to this, because I know they do be, y'all better find peace in wiping my tail because I am going to be at your house not doing nothing because I raised y'all. Y'all hear me? There
My
you go. I'm
kids,
sorry. I just had to
I'll
put
say
that
this.
out there because I'm chilling after in a couple of years. I
no,
don't
no,
care what they
Tommy, I
do. They
can't
better
live
make
at his
something.
house.
I'll say
I'm
this in response to Sheena. If and I'm good for the rest of the episode. If you really hate your paycheck that bad, then it's up to you to change it. Basically,
Boom.
I mean, if it's really that bad, then do something.
Yeah.
It's the only choice you have, or stop.
Everything is the choice.
yeah, everything is a choice. Wow.
Yeah.
We do understand that like all jokes aside, this economy right now is going through its ebbs and its flows. And
It's
we know
kicking our
it's
butt.
really hard for people right now. People are struggling. People were struggling before, but those people are really in dire straits now. And it's affecting all of us, whether we have it or not, because we all know that when people are struggling, they start looking to everyone else for a solution. So I just ask that everybody be safe, spend your money wisely. If you have to change your mindset around money, try to find try to find something to motivate you to build better money habits. And don't be buying them $9 eggs because they're not worth it.
Mm-mm.
That's all I got to say.
I think that was the sign off. Make sure you check us out across all platforms. Resilient Brown Mamas Podcast. Make sure you join our Facebook group and share like how you feel about money. Is money loving you? Are you loving money? You loving your job? You okay with these? You don't know what we talking about? You didn't notice that everything's rising? Let us know. You know what I'm saying? All opinions are welcome. And if you are thriving, we happy for you. Believe that.
Yes.
All right. We love y'all.
The
Stay
next
resilient.
episode. Peace.